So sort of, splitting that or doing those, helping her with day-to-day tasks as the dementia progressed, was that quite challenging?
Yeah, I think it was because, as far as, let's say, if it's a husband and wife or a partner, it's going to have a different effect than it is if you're looking after a parent or a grandparent.
Yeah.
Because the relationship is going to change, because you're becoming more responsible for that person, and they're becoming more vulnerable as far as that. So it is quite a hard balance, because if I'm honest, it's the carer side that takes over more as time goes by. You are becoming more primarily a carer for that person.
Did you see yourself as a carer? I've had conversations with people yesterday actually with somebody that was on doing an episode.
Yeah.
And it took her a very long time. Like an Admiral nurse actually said to her, thank you for being a carer. And she said, and I'd never labelled myself as a carer. I was the daughter and it was just my natural thing to do. But actually, she said that changed things for her in a positive way.
Yeah, I think you don't initially think of yourself as a carer. No. You just do what you have to do, or want to do to look after that person, to make sure they're safe. That's what it becomes, and that's why your own life will become all consumed with the welfare and the care for that person, knowing that they can become a danger to themselves as things progress. So, none of us would be kind of outraged to think of it in a way of, you start thinking about them in the same way you might think about a child.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Yeah. As in certain dangers they may become unaware to certain dangers. Mm-hmm. The things that one would hear about, like turning the cooker on and forgetting that it's on, or picking up something that's boiling hot, or all of those things that will come into it. I didn't realize at the time all the other things that would happen. I had no idea that one day she'd call me up from upstairs, and she was very distressed, and I said, "What's the matter, Bar?" And she went, I don't know how to pick an outfit out to get dressed. Mm-hmm. And then she couldn't make up anymore. These things that she'd done for her whole life suddenly were alien to her. All of those things were things I wasn't expecting. I didn't know about the fact that in her case it affected her mobility. Okay. She would have falls more regularly. She would fall out of bed. Or when she went to get out of bed, her legs would give way at times. This is, more towards the end, and everything. But even so, these were all things that I wasn't expecting. That I didn't know about. I think I was so kind of trying to be in the moment through the process. After that initial, going straight to the darkest place on diagnosis, I think you're so kind of in there, day by day, just watching this thing happen and slowly progress. And we've got to remember as well, anything I'm saying now may not happen to anyone else who is listening to this with their loved one, and it may their loved one may go through a much slower progression. They may never reach a phase like I went through with Barbara. That was just our individual story. So I really don't want anyone to feel alarmed or frightened.
And we say that every single dementia journey is completely individual, isn't it?
Yeah,
completely. Definitely. And you might just take snippets, or you might get to a point where you think, oh yeah, Scott mentioned that. So, it's things like that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It may not look anything like the same journey that you've been on, but it's just about it. Mainly, I think, like you said earlier, the emotional side of it from a caregiver is the thing that tends to be the commonplace for caregivers, isn't it? That's the common ground amongst us, I think, rather than the actual symptoms and experiences as such.
Yeah, and also don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
And support when it comes to things getting a little bit more difficult. There's only so much you can do by yourself. Yeah. Don't be worried about asking another member of the family if they could come round and be with that person for a few hours to give you just a little break. You will want to be there 24/7, but for your own good, you will need to take breaks. You will need to look after yourself, basically.